Okay. Sorry about that. All right. We live now. Now I got my, yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah. So I had an issue with the chat, and like, that's the whole point of the live. If I don't get to show you the chat, then what's the point? So, all right, cool. I'm going to let everyone kind of get in here for a moment, because I know a lot of people were on the other one. So I'll give it just a moment. This video is basically dedicated to, some big announcements that are coming. I kind of have hinted at this last couple of videos, said to, look out for it. So I'm just going to dive right in. It's not going to be a super long live tonight. You guys are still welcome to ask questions and stuff. I know the camera quality is still not great. I'm still trying to get that worked out. I'm sorry. I wish I've got like a million cameras and I can't connect any of them to the computer for some reason. I don't know why, but it just has to be this cheap one. So big announcement. As of yesterday, it was my final day at the golf course I work at. I have decided to go forward with the channel as a full-time gig. This is very significant for a lot of reasons, just because, for the past 6 months, I have felt like, I've gone, like 30 hours a week on the channel, because it's really all I could put into it. I was working 21 hours a week, and then plus just everything else going on in life, I just didn't have time. And, it just felt like every time I was doing a video, I was trying to catch up, and I was trying to catch up. And, when I go to do a video, sometimes it's been like 4 days since my last review, and I go to edit the video, and I'm like, I have to do everything all today. And I have to like shoot the video, edit the video, post the video all in the same day. It takes like 7 or 8 hours sometimes more, depending on if it's a quad review. If it's a quadruple review, it's sometimes 10 hours. And it just got so overwhelming. And, something happened at work, and it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. And I think I just finally made that choice. I came home and said, I'm quitting. And I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of trying to play catch up all the time. I believe, is the channel at a point where I really could do this and, do it comfortably? No, but pretty close, and I think that with the push we have for this year and for the end of the year, getting ready to do a lot of top 10s, a lot of, the top 100, obviously, Golf Ball Addict Awards. I think that late season push will get enough subscribers and enough views and enough momentum that it'll carry us into next year, and I should be fine. That's what I truly believe. In the meantime, though, I need your guys' support, watching, commenting, all that stuff. If you can be a member for $1 a month, if you can up your membership or whatever, doesn't matter. I mean, anything you can do helps, obviously. Even if it's just something as simple as commenting a little bit more, or liking, or whatever, sharing, that stuff really does help, because the next month or two is going to be a little rough. But then after that, like I said, once we get into those awards and seasons, I think the momentum's going to push through. So, thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate that. Could not do it without you guys. So that's part one, is that I officially am going to be able to do this full time. What does that mean for you? Well, it means better content. It means more content. And that's what I love is, again, it feels like I've really wanted to get 2 to 3 videos out a week consistently, and that just hasn't been happening. It feels like I'm always just behind, and I'm sure my wife's tired of hearing it too. I'm always like, I'm behind. She's like, how? You worked 7 hours on it yesterday. And I'm like, that 7 hours was just to catch up and get close to back to even, and I'm still not there. And so what this entitles us to do is essentially, I can just work it like a 9 to 5. I can wake up, make content, be done, have time for my family, and then the next day do it all over again. So I'm really excited to do that. It's what I've been waiting for the past couple of years, for sure. Never really thought we'd get to this point, and I'm honored and just blessed that we have. Stuff for the end of this year. I am changing how I do the top 100 a little bit. I've taken a lot of your feedback. I know in the past I've always done it out of 10 across all the main categories: design and durability and performance and all that stuff. And then, just did an out of 70. There are going to be certain categories that are a little less now. Design, obviously, instead of being out of 10, will be it's actually not even going to be a score or a metric. I'm just going to give bonus points. So for example, if you're a golf ball that has a high vis option, you get a bonus point. Cool. If you have a really cool alignment tool, you get another bonus point, right? If you have a variety of different colors, you might get another bonus point, but like 3 max, you know what I mean? So it's just going to be bonus points based on that. It's not going to be a full score out of 10, because I know some of you felt like, well, this golf ball is incredible and you gave it the third spot, but you said the design sucks because it only comes in one option. And they're like, what if you don't care about that? And it makes sense. So I've kind of toned that down. Also, we're going to do some bonus points for stuff like if you have a 10 out of 10 roll, if you have 40 to 60% on the spin meter, you might get a bonus point. If you have, 60 to 80 or 61 to 80, you'll get 2 bonus points. And if you have, more than that, it's stuff like that. I'm still working out the details, but there's going to be like more bonus points thrown in there. And it's really going to be across the whole golf ball with performance being the main factor there. So it'll be cool. It's going to be a little bit different, and I'm interested to see where these fall. The competition's really great. I still have no idea what'll be number one. I really don't. I have no idea. I never do until I do the scores. So, that'll be in a couple months. So that's kind of the news I have for this year. Now, later this year, I am also going to be opening up a survey, if you will. It's a poll, and you guys are essentially going to vote on the clubs I use next year for testing. Right. So last year I used the Mizuno, hot metals that I had. That was fine. This year I went to the Adams idea set, which wasn't really my plan. I'm glad it worked out. It was actually a set I just wanted to review, and then I ended up not having clubs anymore. And it was weird, but that's how we ended up at that. Again, I'm glad. Those clubs are awesome, but you guys are actually going to vote on it. So you're going to vote on what we test. Are we going to do 50-yard pitch? Someone mentioned earlier 25-yard pitch. We could do a full sand wedge. I don't mind doing that. There's a lot in there we could do. You'll vote on that. And then you'll also vote, do we do 9-iron again? Do we do pitching wedge? Do we, instead of a 7-iron, do we do an 8-iron since the lofts might be different? Do you want to put the hybrid back in there? Do you want to do a 3-wood instead of a driver? All kinds of stuff. You'll vote on all that, and it'll basically be your choice. But not just that. I also want you guys to vote on the club itself that we use. So if it's a 50-yard pitch, let's say we vote on that, right? I want you guys to vote on the wedge, because instead of just doing a generic wedge or whatever I buy, let's go get a Vokey. Let's go get a Ping Eye, what is the 159 or whatever, the Snake Bite, the Mizuno. You'll vote on that as well. And then I don't even mind just mixing up the clubs in general. If you want to do a pitching wedge and you're like, hey, instead of doing a generic pitching wedge that comes with a set, put a Vokey in there, put whatever. We can do that. Or we could do like a blade. We could do, game improvement. You'll vote on all that across the board, and then we'll have the different, types of clubs for that. And I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be cool. And it'll mix it up, to be a little bit different. And I think we'll get different results. And I'm excited about that as well. I'm just going to read these comments real quick. Oh, yeah. No, I definitely want this. I've never enjoyed anything more in my life than doing this. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate all the support, guys. You guys are awesome. I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. This is really big for me. Today was like my first day. I actually took a day off today. It's like my first day off in 3 years, but I just really haven't done anything other than this. So I guess it's not really a day off, but it was kind of like a day off for me. So, I'll catch you up to speed, Joey. Basically, I quit my job. I'm doing this full time. You guys are going to vote on what clubs we use for next year. And what was the other thing, guys? I'm changing how I'm doing the top 100. I'm doing different categories. A lot of details. You missed a lot, but you can always go back and watch it as well. Next year, another cool thing, and this is still in the early development process, but I'll make it happen. I'm going to use some of that land in my backyard to do an indoor facility. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you. God bless you. I really appreciate that. I still haven't seen that Snell commercial. I've heard you mention that a couple times, but I don't know what that Snell commercial is. I guess they're just using my video, which is fine. That's fine. I'm doing an indoor facility because, it's always been a pain in the butt to do these reviews outside. It really has. You guys can see the video of where I'm doing it from. It's not ideal. It gets the job done. I'm blessed to have a place to do it, but it doesn't get the job done. And when I was out there this year, I'm a guy that loves the heat, but man, the Florida summer really ruined the heat for me. Between working my job outside for 7 hours and, then coming home and trying to test outside, it's so muggy. Guys, I'll go outside at 7 a.m. in the morning and just be pouring sweat. Drenched, wringing out my shirt. It's miserable. And I came in one day, it was like maybe a month ago, and I was huffing and puffing and I was kind of dizzy. And my wife was like, are you okay? And I said, I'm done doing this outside. I said, next year I'm building an indoor facility. I said, I'm not doing this again. I just can't. I don't care what it costs me. I don't care if I have to take out a loan. I don't care. I can't do this. Because then there's also an issue of rain. It always rains in Florida almost every day at some point. I got dressed, I had the camera, I had everything ready, I had my tablet, I had, the launch monitor, the ball, everything's all ready to go. I opened the door and it's just pouring rain. And I'm like, all right, never mind. I guess we'll try again tomorrow. I mean, that happens so often. Wind is a factor. We get a lot of winds here in Florida with storms. And so I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to build a facility out there, put a putting green in it. I'm going to get like one of those, smaller kind of putting greens I can put in there just to kind of feed back. I still like my outdoor one because we built it. I know a lot of you think there's concrete underneath. It's not. It's actually built really well. So I'll still try to use that when I can, but having an alternative in air conditioning would really help as well. Of course, have my monitor set up in there and, maybe some other stuff too, but mainly air conditioning. That's what I'm concerned about. So that's going to happen as well. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure of the particulars, but it'll be cool. But that'll be for next year. And I don't care what it takes. I'll get it done. I just can't do this in the heat anymore. It's miserable. Sometimes I'm testing 2 or 3 golf balls a day. And man, by the third one, I just don't have any energy left. It's just that heat sucks it right out of you. It's insane. Sorry to sound kind of like a wuss, but like it's true. If you haven't been in Florida heat in the summer, it's brutal. So yep. Thank you all very much. A lot of great comments here. I appreciate you guys being so kind. Yeah. Let's see. I was surfing Facebook when I saw it. Oh, yep. Awesome. Cool. Yes, I am going to DIY. It's not going to be like a super, it's going to be made out of like plywood. It's not going to be super in depth. It's going to be pretty budgeted, but my main thing is just getting any AC in there and getting out of the sun. Any of that's going to be better. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be cheap. It's going to be kind of redneck, if you will, but it's better than nothing. It's better than being out standing directly in that sun. I'm super, super excited about it, and we'll figure it out. I got a lot of people around me who are good at that, and they'll help, which I love too. I also thought about doing a little mural on the outside. I love graffiti. I love street art. And so I was thinking about doing something golf ball addict related on the outside of that. But anyway, this is early stages here. I'm just kind of letting the juice flow. You know what I mean? But appreciate where I live in Canada. It's either dry or cold. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, great first name. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's kind of the big announcements is, next year is going to be cool because you're going to see a lot of stuff probably from inside that facility. You'll see a lot of testing in there. So I wanted to mention that. The voting on stuff. Obviously that's going to be really cool for you guys. I love to involve the community. So I love the fact that you're with it. You know what I mean? I love the fact that, next year we're going to have a specific set of clubs or, individuals or whatever, and it's going to be stuff you voted on. I think that's awesome. I can't wait for that. Other than that, reviewing golf balls this year, it's going to be cool because I've got 75 tested right now for this year alone. And I think by the time we're done, we're going to be at like 130 to 150, somewhere in that range. So there's probably a video I'm going to have to do before the top 100. That's like a dishonorable mention that just talks about the golf balls that didn't even make the top 100. And that's kind of crazy to think about, right? Like we're doing a top 100 golf ball list and I'm going to have to throw off 30 names that couldn't even crack it. And I don't know, that just makes me smile. Like that's hilarious. We've come such a long way. Last year, I by the end of the year hadn't even got to 100 and I had to like scramble, and not this year. Plan on putting a putting green. Would a putting green similar with this? Yes. Go Nick. Suggest to make some on-course clips with some of the test balls. Yeah. So Joe, maybe now that I'm going full time, I can do that. But I'll tell you what, it's hard because I only golf. I haven't been to the course in 3 weeks. So like sometimes it's really difficult when you're pumping out, a quad review and a triple review, 7 golf balls in 1 week. You'd have to go to the course and essentially find a way to not only get your escape, right? That's my 1 week escape to get out there and just have fun and play. But then I got to mix in filming and get those specific golf balls and not lose them. It's tricky. It's really, really tricky. And so I'll try, but that's something it's not as easy as it sounds, unfortunately. I think it's a lot easier for other YouTubers because they just go to the course and just pay to play a round of golf on like a Thursday afternoon when there's no one there. And then they just play with it and just film themselves, but it's so much harder when you have like a studio and everything, and then you got to find time to get out. But I'll do my best. I know a lot of people have requested it, so I'll try. Thank you very much, Ricardo. Appreciate you. So yeah, that'll be fun. When we get to the end of this year, like I said, there's going to be the dishonorable mention, and it's going to essentially mean that all 100 golf balls in the top 100 are not going to be, there's going to be none of them that are probably dog water. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be, now don't get me wrong, 90 through 100 will still be like, okay, very niche market, not great, but kind of barely passes. It's just keeping its head above water, but not like last year where, the bottom 10, I was like, I was getting pretty animated. I was like, these golf balls suck, not the case. If I have to have 30 to 50 dishonorable mentions, that means everything in that top 100 is at least playable to a degree. And I'm excited about that as well. So Santa Barbara, California. Hello, Ricardo. By the way, what do you think about the recycled ball vendors? I managed to get 100 Strixon. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about recycled balls and used balls and stuff. I don't like them. There's a lot of fakes on the market. The fake golf ball industry is $1 billion industry. I've seen guys who get refurbished golf balls and they're actually just like a Callaway Super Soft underneath, and they just put another layer and made it look like a Pro V1. I've seen so many horror stories. And I get it. Some of you love it. We've battled this for a year now. That's cool. I'm going to do a lot more experiments this year and next year and try to, get closer to that to see if my opinion changes, or hopefully yours does, or whatever. But I just don't trust them. There's so many new golf balls on the market that you can get for $29.99 a dozen or $25 a dozen that are awesome. I would rather you just buy those personally. But okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What's really interesting, and I want to get your opinion on this. It's funny because now it's getting to the point where I have a few friends, and I talk to people on here and I get comments and stuff. And a lot of you, I know you well enough because you've been on the channel and stuff. It's interesting that now when I say I have a big announcement, everyone cracks a joke, or maybe they're serious. I don't know. But almost everyone's first thing is, oh no, who'd you sign with? And I'm like, no one. I'm not signing with anybody. But it's hilarious to me because I think that's the world we live in. And we watch, a lot of YouTubers sign deals and stuff and things like that. But it feels like every time I'm like, hey, I have a big announcement, I'll text it to some people and they're like, oh no, who'd you sign with? And I'm like, no one, this is fun. And they're like, oh, thank God. And it's like, it's so funny to me, but I'm not signing, guys. I just want to make sure I reiterate that. Right. Funny story. And I'll tell this because I respect this man. I don't mean this in any negative way whatsoever, but this is a funny story. One of the sponsorships I have been trying to get for over a year now is a club sponsor, because we use clubs to test the golf balls. And I was hoping like, okay, if I reach out to someone who I really like their clubs, originally I wanted a direct to consumer. I wanted like McGregor or, sub 70, someone I could advertise for because they're, smaller brand, whatever, direct to consumer. But I essentially, and some golf ball addicts will know, I've told this story before. I messaged all those companies last year and said, listen, if you send me the clubs to test the golf balls with, I'll test them all year and I'll put your name, which I do. I put the club, what club I'm testing. And I said, that's good. 3 million views on the channel in a year, 3 million eyeballs knowing what your product is. They can ask questions about it. I was like, all I ask is that you send them for free and that's it. We're good. I don't want anything else. So, I mean, what would that have cost them? Like $100, $200 maybe, I don't know, somewhere in there. All of them turned me down. And I was like, man, to me, that feels like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like I would do that if I had a club and you said, hey, just give me, a few clubs or whatever, and I'll put them for the whole year and say like, hey, this is what we're using is that, it wasn't necessarily an endorsement. It was just like, if you do it, I'll put them up there. And yeah, no, they all were like, yeah, you review golf balls. You're useless to us. And I said, okay, cool. I mean, it is what it is. I respect it. And sorry, I was looking at the comments. I have a one-track mind. But my point in that is that I'd still kind of this year been looking for that too. I was like, because it's a golf club sponsor. It's not a ball sponsor. So it doesn't really, I get it. It can still kind of be, because if I go, like, let's just say through Bridgestone or whatever, and I get their club, some people might go, oh, well, you can't review their balls. And that makes perfect sense. I get that. But I watched another YouTuber, and you'll know who it is. Again, I'm not taking a crack at him. I respect the man. But I won't say his name, but you all will know who it is. Recently, he signed with a golf ball company, and he does club reviews and tech reviews mainly. And my thought was, okay, kind of makes sense. Yeah. This person doesn't really do ball reviews. So if he's doing club reviews all the time, yeah, it makes sense. The comments were not nice. And some of you were in those comments. Some of you were fighting with me. I was there. I popped my head in for a minute. Like you were there. So But I thought, man, look at the response. Like he signed, he doesn't even do, and he still got this response. And it really made me rethink. Like, oh, okay, so maybe I should rethink this hardcore. So now I've kind of taken a step back. I'm not interested in a club sponsor anymore. For me, it's more like just keep it straight. Now, don't get me wrong. If like a clothing company like Grayson was like, hey, wear our stuff. And yeah, of course. Yeah. Clothing that I don't review clothing. So 100%, I'm taking that deal. If someone's going to send me free shirts that are nice, $150 polos, I'll take that. Right. Cause that's not even what's that called? Help me out here. When it's, the term you use that you can't sign, I can't sign with a golf ball company because then if I review their golf ball, that would be a blank. Please help me out with that. But that's the issue. It would be, obviously a problem, but no, I'll take a clothing sponsor and, Perrier, like water. If you want me to drink water while I'm, doing reviews and stuff, cool. But yeah, I just can't, I've rethought it. And so at this point, I just can't accept money from almost anybody. And that's fine because you guys do enough with the commenting and like the giving and just watching. Eyeballs is all I really need, to be honest with you. It really is. As long as you guys keep watching, I'll be fine. Really. Conflict of interest. Thank you. It's late. I haven't had a magic mind, but yes, thank you very much. That's what it is. Conflict of interest. Yeah. Oh, look at that. You all smarter than me. You all are smarter than me. Okay. So anyway, funny story. And obviously, yeah, you guys knew who it was. I didn't want to mention him, but and I felt bad. But okay, let's look through some of these amazing comments now because that's all that I have. I only have about 8 minutes left, but I do want to try to get through some of them and just kind of see. Let's see. Yep, good stuff. Nick, can't wait to see what you think of those Snyder Tours. They spin like crazy, man. Wilson Staff Duo softball golf balls are good, but they're really soft. If you swing over 80 mile an hour, I wouldn't play them. Dumb biz. Yeah, I really thought there was going to be at least one company reach out and be like, hey, yeah, of course, take these clubs, To be fair, if you did sign with someone, I can trust it's a good company. Yeah, and I always would anyway. I would never sign with someone I didn't like, but I wouldn't do it anyway. Wilson Triad, good. 63 and swing number. What number ball would you recommend? Michael, if you want any ball recommendations, Michael, golfballaddict@gmail.com. Just send me an email and I'll get you a recommendation. Just let me know as much detail as you can. I will gladly get you one. Could probably try to get a sponsorship from companies that do your testing equipment like Launch Monitor. Now, see, that would be cool too. Like launch monitors, especially if I could get a really cool one. You know what I mean? Because Launch Monitor, I don't really review. I review them, but I don't. But that's actually a really good point. If I could find a really nice, like $4,000 or $5,000 one that would be willing to even cut me a discount. Surprising enough, most of the time I don't ask for free stuff. I ask for discounts, like with Volvic. Volvic, I was like, listen, it's going to be $700 to review every single golf ball you have. I was like, can you just sell me a sleeve, please? And I'd gladly pay them. And they did. I paid, I think, like $100 for 16 sleeves. So they kind of cut me a little bit of a deal, but I was glad to pay that because $700 just to review one company's golf balls, man, that's a lot of money. It's like, and I probably could have made some of it back by selling, the excess, but goodness, like that's just a lot of work. Conflict of interest. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. See, and yeah, signing is a mistake. A lot of people thought that YouTuber signing was a mistake. And I felt, again, I felt kind of bad because I understood where he was coming from. I did. I got it. I understood where he was coming from and it made sense. But that's the thing is that when people trust you as being someone who won't sign, you can't sign. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I understand I'm talking about Perrier and stuff, but I have a hard time believing if I signed with a water company, which again, Perrier, hit me up. Like, I love this. I'm tired of paying for these. Like, but my point is that if I sign with a water company, I don't think any of you would be like, oh, well, I can't trust Nick's golf ball reviews now, but signing with another golf related company is kind of a little bit of a conflict of interest. So I see both sides, but man, it definitely made me rethink. As soon as I saw how that went down, I was like, okay, no, I got to keep it clean. Have you thought about making your data available? Maybe have top 100 release it. So yes, that's happening. I mentioned it at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, my spreadsheet that has all my data on it, I have it really cleaned up. I have it all ready. It's going to be released to the public, and that will be free of charge. You're welcome. What a guy. But yes, I've had that requested for years. I'm glad to finally be able to do it. Yep. Would love to see you sign with the club manufacturer. Makes total sense. Yeah, maybe one day. I mean, right now I don't have any need to. I like bouncing around. I like trying new stuff. I am in the process of considering. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. I am in the process right now of considering opening another channel, just a little bit, and Golf Club Addict. I'm considering it. Mainly because, and I'll tell you why, I originally had no plans to do this. The reason that I feel like I should is, one, I think that the way we review golf balls works if I do it from the average swinger perspective and all that stuff. But I'm not seeing, there are some, it's not like with golf balls, there are some, but still not a lot of club reviewers that review the ball the way I do the looks, the feel, the value, and then get into data numbers. That's what I feel like is so important. And I watch club reviews where guys are just hitting the ball and they're like, yeah, this feels great, man. Oh, they feel good. Yeah. Oh, look, that ball's going a long way. Yeah, guys, I recommend it. That's not a club review. That tells me nothing. Like, I want to see data. And I would love to one day get to a point where, imagine if I could do the same thing with clubs that I'm doing with balls. We get to the end and I say, okay, top 30 irons. And it's literally like just by ball speed. It's just by data. It's not my opinion. Like, that's kind of what my whole channel is based on. It's not my opinion. These are data numbers. Like, it worked. I mean, and you can say all human error, whatever, but okay, that's fine. Maybe you're right. But these are just data numbers. It's not my opinion. Like when I say, hey, the Kirkland ball doesn't test very well, and they go, oh, well, that's just your opinion. No, it's the Flight Scope Mevo's opinion when it got like bottom 10 ranking. Like, I don't care. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care at all. So I thought about doing that as well. So we'll see. Again, excuse me. I'm getting riled up. Again, it's one of those things where now that I have more time and I have an indoor facility, that might open it up a little bit. We'll see, because I would love to do that and just get into different stuff. And I think this works. I think what we do here works. So I would love to see more of it. Hold on. That's a good question. Let me see. Does the wooden putter have an effect on the sound when you test balls? A little bit. I mean, it still gives me the sound profile, but it is got wood in there. So I have to just kind of take the wood out in my mind. But as far as like the crispness of it and how it actually, sounds when it hits the club, and if it's hollow and if it's, that all is still there. It does have a wood sound that you just have to go, okay, that's wood. But I can still tell. I mean, 100%. And just like there are certain putters, like if I get an old ping putter and it makes that ping sound, I can eliminate the ping and still hear how it's coming off the putter regardless of that. It's kind of like different levels, like when you're mixing music. I went to school for that, so maybe I just have a natural ability to pick that out, but I can pick out a drum track and mix them up. But yeah, no, it's good. Which again, we'll have a different putter next year also, so that's another good thing. So Justin, yeah, someone catch Justin up. Lots of good news. You can go back and watch it too, Justin, just to see the beginning of it. I do wish more companies had trial packs. Where do I sell the extra balls? Now, here in the next week, I'm going to be getting all the sleeves of golf balls I have over here and putting them on my eBay page. If you click the link that's in any of my reviews, it says like Linktree or whatever, it'll take you to a page that has my eBay. And at the end of this week, I will have all the golf balls on there that you can buy. These are sleeves. What I do is I buy a dozen to test. I take the one sleeve I need for testing and keep it. The other 3 I put on eBay. And the price is okay. I'll be honest. I'm shipping one sleeve of golf balls. If you buy more, you kind of save more because you don't have to pay shipping once. But I'm getting ready, guys. I've got a stack this high, probably 5 feet high, of just nothing but sleeves of golf balls. It's got to be at least 100 sleeves. And so I'm going to get those online. And so I'll make an announcement when that happens, but you guys can go and actually purchase those, and it helps the channel out. It helps all that. And then you get to try them, and it's cool. But I meant to do that as I go. I just haven't had the time. And so I'm going to do it very soon. Yeah, the Volvi Axia. So, Bruce, I'll just tell you, I have reviewed it, and I understand where you're coming from. Yes, Perrier is good. Yes. I'm a big soda drinker, and so I've had to cut down diet, but I mean, still soda, I drink it like a fish. And so I've had to cut to something that's a little bit healthier. So Peter Finch signing with Titleist works for him. Grown over. Yeah. I mean, Peter Finch at this point is almost like a professional golfer. He's trying to make cuts and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, totally separate. Will the spreadsheet be sponsored by Excel? No, but maybe Google Sheets. Callaway Triple Diamond versus Q-Star Ulti Speed for slow swing. I would go with the Ulti Speed. Its dispersion is so much tighter and better for like a slower swinger and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Triple Diamond's awesome, but for a slower swinger, I'd go with that Ulti Speed, and you'll save some money. Yep, I'm thinking about doing that. Bridgestone E6 golf balls, any good? Yes, Bridgestone E6 golf balls are good, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Ricardo, because if you try the E6 out and you think to yourself, it's not bad, I just wish it had a little more explosiveness off the club, I wish it had a little more spring or bouncy ball to it, the Electron, which is advertised as a junior golf ball, is awesome. I just tested it. It's going to be the next review. I'm doing the junior series. It'll come out in like a day or two. You'll see then, but actually, like, my big takeaway from that is I was like, the Electron is what I wanted the E6 to be. I wanted the E6 to be springy and bouncy and fun and forgiving. And the E6 is like good and solid and has some feedback, but like, that's not what I look for in a two-piece golf ball. It gets the job done. It's great. But man, the Electron, if you're looking for a little more spring, be on the lookout for that review. It comes out in a couple days. I live in Phoenix, so I get the too hot comments. Yeah, Phoenix is like, what, 120, but it's dry heat, but it's still like 150 degrees. Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, and I have done a couple club reviews, and they've been pretty successful, so I want to go forward. I kind of want to – I've tried for a couple years now to get that ball rolling. So training aids, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing tech as well. And there are tons of club reviews on YouTube, but again, I just feel like they don't do it how I would do it. And maybe that's just still, it's a saturated market and I'm flooding it. But I feel like if I could get the method of how I test the golf ball set up like with clubs, you know, I know that there are a couple channels that do it with database, but I see so many reviews. You know, when I was looking for a club set a couple months ago, I was scouring the internet, and all of them were just hitting balls, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I like it. And they'd walk up to their ball and like say some jokes, and they'd hit it again. I'm all about business, baby. I'm just like, hey, listen, this is what it looks like. It's sexy. Hey, this is the value. It's good. Let's test these numbers. Here's the numbers. Yeah, that's great. And we move on. You know what I mean? I feel like it's, and I do 30-minute reviews. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's just, anyway, not my cup of tea, but I love the slow swing speed test, the clubs. Yes. And that's another thing too. Next year, I'm going to try to do golf ball tests where I test them from, I'm considering this. It depends on how much time I have and how the rest of this year goes, but I'm considering doing single test again, but doing a slow swing speed, a mid swing, and a fast swing all on the same ball and getting data for all three. Again, I don't know, that's early stages. I might be biting off more than I can chew, but I'm used to doing triple reviews right now anyway. If I have more time and this really takes off and I can just do it full time and not have to worry about a lot of other stuff, I could see that. And then at the end of the year, we could have a legit list of like, okay, I tested these from slow, these for average, and these for fast. This is where we're at. And so I'm playing around with it, and I might try it at the end of the year. So just keep that in mind as well. All right. Very cool way to, yep, absolutely. Thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. Thank you guys for the support so much. If I had any Wilson Triad to sell you, I gladly would. The email address is golfballaddict@gmail.com. It's just exactly how it sounds, golfballaddict@gmail.com. If any of you ever want a ball recommendation or whatever, you can just email that and give me, all your details, as much detail as you can, and I will gladly recommend some stuff for you. I know I've been slow on the emails lately, but again, that's why I quit. I felt like I was always catching up. I was doing emails once a week. I'm going to get this rolling. Mark my words. I'm going to get this rolling. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it good. I promise. So it'll be better. Yep. Thank you for being here in the live stream. After seeing the My Golf Spy testing, I gave the Tour Response a try. Great distance and forgiveness. Yeah, it's a decent ball. It is. It is absolutely a decent ball. 100%. A lot of people like it. Well, guys, I got to go. I got to get off here. I said it would only be 30 minutes. Thank you so, so much. This is big news. I'm really excited about this. Like I said, the next 2 months are crucial. I need all of your support that I can get. And that means just little stuff, commenting on videos. Literally just get on there and just be like, hey, thanks for the review. I hate your hat. You suck. I don't even care. Whatever it is. Like, hey, love you. By the way, whatever. Go Eagles, go Bucks. I don't care. Put anything you want in there. I don't care. But just any comments, liking, engagement. If you can become a member, great. I'm also going to open up a GoFundMe page as well. That's more of going to be for the facility, the indoor facility, so I can do that. But again, I don't ask for money. So if you want to do that, awesome. And if not, just leave a comment. And that's just as good to me. Again, eyeballs are the most important. The fact that you're watching my content, that puts food on the table. So it's good enough for me. I appreciate you. I know the economy's tough. Thank you very much for the support, everyone. Thank you. Yep, absolutely. Have a good night. I love you guys. As always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time. Next up, either not tomorrow, probably the next day, we will have the Vice Junior, the Vice Pro, the Tour Junior, Vice Pro Junior, and the Bridgestone Electron. I know they're junior golf balls, but I was surprised by one of them. And I also was really surprised in the other way by one of them. So, fun review. Check it out. All right, guys. I will see you later. As soon as I figure out how, there it is, my end stream button. Bye-bye.